Hi, hello. Welcome to Dear PB, a podcast where we hopefully help you become a better speedrunner, but probably won't. I'm Corva May, but you can call me May or she or her.
I'm Swoos. You can call me SWC or he or they.
And as always, we are joined by a guest.
Whoa.
Oh, oh,
I-
guess.
Introduce yourself, guest.
Hello. I am Kung Fu Fruit Cup, and you can all call me Fu and she, her. Hey.
I thought you were going to go, I thought there was going to be a longer introduction than that.
Oh, listen, I go based on questions. I don't know how much you want me to say.
It
You can
was an
always leave me
introduction.
anything.
It got the
I'm
point
used to, like,
across.
I'm
It's
used
totally
to,
okay.
I'm used to
You're-
interview style. Like,
I
oh, okay,
know.
let's do the follow up. We've done the name. We've done the. Hey, what's up? I am a streamer, content creator, and I've been around the GDQ scene since 2014, first as an attendee, then as a volunteer for hosting, then as an interviewer. So now I'm an interviewer for main stage GDQ events. I'm a hotfix showrunner, and I'm the interview lead for the Frame Fatale events as well. It's been
See,
a
there we
journey.
go. The whole resume.
There it
Yeah.
is. There it is.
Um,
We are also
I-
professional interviewers, as you can tell by the style of this
Yeah,
podcast.
well, we like to do a more casual, laid back
Of
thing.
course,
I know,
of
like,
course.
the GDQ interview team, they're like gotta be professional on stage, stuff like that. And we like to do the most opposite of that as possible.
Okay.
Right,
say the-
right.
Good to know.
We say the bad words,
Whoa.
but not like the bad words.
Saying the bad
Moving
words
on.
like throw and
Yeah,
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 like
yeah.
reset.
We use all the production words that you're not supposed to use.
okay, great.
Like, this is a
Um,
disaster.
Is that a
Oh,
production
that's so
word?
funny.
It could be. If you hear that while on production,
That's true. That is a pretty bad word to hear.
something
on
has gone
production.
wrong.
All right, dear PB, what's the worst word to hear on production from me?
There's some words that can't be said that are pretty
That
bad
isn't
to
a
hear just
slur.
in general. What a good opener. What is the
the
worst
word-
non-slur word you can use?
Say broken. Something's broken.
Broken.
I feel like stuff breaks
Um,
all the time, though.
We lost internet.
Stream
That's
is
really
down.
bad. That's really
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. Stream's dead.
Yeah. Does that
Does that
Internet's
smell
down.
like smoke to anyone?
Oh
Don't
no.
don't let the magic smoke out of the computer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, nobody trained me how to use this mixer.
That's me. This is why I don't do audio.
Oh, that would be a nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Do I
Oh my
have
goodness.
any other ones?
Hmm.
Was that red button the one I was supposed to press?
Oh no.
Stop
did hap-
streaming.
That
Don't
did
mind if I
happen to
do.
us once during FF. It was rough.
Great.
This just crashed? Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, you know that one meme that's like, and so listen closely and hear the one sound you never want to hear while doing automotive maintenance. It's that, but it's just I have the FF meeting agenda opened up, and I'm watching Court make notes, and it's super distracting. I have to change it. Okay,
Yeah, you have to tab away.
tab away. So bad. Nice and concise and focused intro.
Yeah.
Yes, we're here with Fu, who is now going to tell us about her speedrunning history. How'd you get into it?
Oh my
Things like
goodness.
that.
So, the way that I found Twitch actually was through speedrunning. Well, for the most part, like I was in college and I had a friend telling me about like Twitch plays Pokemon, and I thought that was cool. But so I just watched a little on the side. But it wasn't until another friend of mine in college showed me a speedrun, an old Siglemic Mario 64 120-star speedrun, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like what is this? This is so amazing!" And I was like so astounded by it. And I realized that these people are streaming live on Twitch. So I was like, okay, now I need to make an account. I'm going to go follow some people and just think of all the games that I loved playing as a kid growing up. Because I'm a very nostalgic gamer, so I like to replay games. So I followed Siglemic, I followed Narcissa, I followed Snarfy, I followed Talon. Because I was like looking at, like Mario games, Zelda games, Sonic Adventure 2, and some other things like that, and kind of expanded from there. And started following people, and then eventually started streaming a few months later because I thought it was so cool. And I found out about GDQ, and then I went to my first SGDQ. Uh, like a few months after I started streaming. I when I get interested in something, I can just like dive straight in. because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's new and stimulating. This is so cool. I want to learn everything. Uh, so I went to like my first SGDQ 2014 when it was in Denver for like 72 hours because that was all the time I had. Met a bunch of people, loved it. And then a couple months after that, like so I went in like, that was like late June. And then by August, I decided to try my first speed run. And I did like a semi-blind race versus Fi-Fi with Kirby 64. And that became my first speed game. So I've ran Kirby 64 on and off, less so lately than I used to. I've also picked up games like Splatoon 1 I ran for a while, Spyro 1, the original Spyro the Dragon, and I picked up Kirby in the Forgotten Land more recently, and I feel like I'm forgetting another game. Yeah. So I've done a couple of speed runs, but nowadays I feel like I'm more in the like speed run adjacent side where I'm the one who's like, I want to be involved in the events, but I love the hosting thing. I bring people on to tell me about their expertise rather than me not giving myself enough time to actually be good at any of the games that I have run
That
personally.
was my same thought process when we
Yeah.
started this. I haven't run a game in the past year, and instead I do stuff like this, so it works out.
Right. I mean, there's different elements to hobbies and things that you're interested in, or like even with sports, like not everybody into sports wants to be playing the sport or doing the thing that, like be directly involved in a way. Like sometimes they want to be on the side, they want to learn about it, or they want to be managing it, or they want to be, like talking to people, or like there are different elements all around this. And speedrunning is very similar. So there's a lot of people who like being involved in speedrunning without actually always speedrunning themselves. And that's me.
That's interesting because I definitely do feel like there is not a lot of like with sports and stuff. You do see, you see you hear about the GMs and you hear about the coaches and trainers and all the other aspects that go into it. You hear about people who are like doing people do analysis and things like that. But that whole ecosystem in speedrunning, even though it exists, is a lot quieter than
Yeah.
other things. Even esports, like you have casters and things like that. Whereas like in speedrunning, I think the culture is just more expected that you are a speedrunner. It's
That
very
you are. Yeah.
Right,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that it makes more sense that you're very hands-on because there are less events that are big enough to the point where you would be like, oh, this person does this. Like, I feel like in some strange fashion, I've ended up in one of the spots where it's like, oh, who's one of the faces of the biggest speedrunning event? And I'm like, that's really strange because in a way, because I'm like, I'm not always actively speedrunning.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting to be in that position.
Yeah, you don't
alongside
have
others
like
who
career hosts or like career commentators,
Yeah,
right.
I'm a career commentator.
except for
Just
May with Hat in Time. But
yeah,
um,
I'm
yeah,
just gonna start learning games just to be able to commentate them. That's kind of what I do.
honestly, not a bad idea.
You could,
But, like,
you definitely could, and then just be involved in the communities, and they know that they'll be able to rely on you for offering the commentary. Which I mean,
Yeah.
it's a really interesting take on it, but it's just different.
Yeah, so if you listen to us as not a speedrunner, but you're like, I listened to this Advice for Speedrunners podcast, despite that, thanks. And B, there are other ways to get involved that you should know about, especially the event. Every event needs more people, honestly. So, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I love encouraging people to volunteer for GDQ events because not only is there stuff you can do for the online events, but there's like even more you can do in person. There's all kinds of volunteering roles that are really helpful and get you experience in different areas that you wouldn't think about. So whether
Yeah.
it's something, as in person as like the check-in desk or like enforcement, or you work one of the rooms, like when we have the board game room again, hopefully soon. I miss it. Or like the arcade, but then you can also do stuff a little bit closer to the actual marathon room. Like I've worked the donation station multiple times before. You can audition a host. You can submit to try to volunteer for some production and camera work. There's all kinds of cool stuff that can bring you like close to the action without speed running directly.
Yeah.
And you get in free.
True.
Yeah, and you get a pass in for free.
My
And you
first
get a-
GDQ,
and
I
you get a
was
shirt.
yeah, it's a nice shirt. My first GDQ, I did Stream Tech.
Okay, nice. Yeah,
So
Stream
that was
Tech's
fun.
Yeah, right? Like, it's cool, and again, it's good experience, especially when you're looking to get into the field one way or another. Anything
Right.
around production or even administrative work with, like, the donation station and things, you're working with a team, and you're learning how to do, like, proper filtering and talk to production and, all of that, so there's a lot that goes into it.
I did a weird jump from not volunteering at SGDQ 2022 because I was working the whole week and just didn't want to add that to my uh, plate to then being an in-studio volunteer for AGDQ, which was funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So
it's
it
just a
could happen
different
to anyone.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
my
It
no.
could
point.
happen to you if you
Oh,
decide that you
no.
wanna do it and you, like, submit for it.
Exactly. Submit for things. That's actually the advice is just submit stuff.
Yeah,
The
'cause
worst
you
thing
never
that
know
happens is you don't do it, and then you're in the same place you were before.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
true.
I felt really fortunate to be able to do my first, like, the Beat Saber showcase for AGDQ 2021. That was really, really cool, and I didn't know that they would actually take a chance on me and give me the opportunity, but I'm glad I submitted, and now I'll be doing it for Frost Vital coming up, so
Which you should
Yeah.
all check out.
it's gonna be fun.
Right as we are getting maybe sort of close to fixing our release schedule, I'll go to FF and then it'll be messed up again. Get excited.
It's okay, because we're going to record a live in-person
Oh wait,
episode
we can
then.
do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
There you
We
go.
were just talking about this.
I'm dumb, and
Yeah, well.
No,
I have
no,
the
no, no.
podcaster's curse where everything that happened before the podcast flushes itself out of my brain the moment it starts, and then when the moment the podcast ends, everything that happened during the podcast flushes itself out of my brain. I am
Right.
like a blank slate that I get during the show.
All I know is intro and question.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And
You know what?
not
That's
even outro.
often so here's the thing. As an interviewer, my advice is don't forget about your outro because my outro is the weakest part of my interviews by
Yeah.
far.
That's
Oh,
where
I'm
so-
always
we're
like,
at, too.
all right,
What do you
everybody. Like, there
mean?
was one interview I had at this past AGDQ where it was like my first interview of the week, and I outroed like 3 different times in a row. Like, I just
Oh,
kept
no.
being like, all right, everybody, thanks for watching. So excited for the marathon, coming up today. Next up, we have this thing. Oh, and thank you so much to the runner. You were awesome. Glad you all were here to watch us. And next up, we have this game. It's going to be really cool. Stick around for more stuff. All right, thanks everybody. And I'm like, oh my god,
That's
dude, just
just-
shut up and
That's
get
just
off
muscle
camera.
confusion for the producer.
Our
Yes,
our
I
last
know.
hotfix episode, we were outroing and our producer's like clear and like, oh, we were talking another 20 seconds.
Oh no. Yeah, no, I make sure to be like, okay, going back up to the front, and then I stop and I wave, and that is
Right.
their clear sign to like, please go away from me now.
See, we had finished our shows with actionable advice, so I think we have a pretty good outro.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you have like something very concrete to stick to. That's always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spike's.
Kind of. We'll
Yeah,
get there.
I'm
We'll
close
get
enough
there.
though. Like Spike always likes to say something akin to, all right, we're gonna kick it up back to the front with blah blah blah, and we'll see you next time. That's it. And I'm like, oh, if only I need like a good sign off phrase that because I can't use
All
keep
right,
it up
let's
to the
workshop
front.
you a
'cause that's Spike.
catchphrase.
All right.
Yeah. Help me with a catchphrase. There you go.
I think my idea is you draw with your hand the D-pad in the GDQ logo.
I was
Maybe
gonna
we
do
could,
like the
like-
Disney Channel logo.
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
screen.
And then, well, you could just have somebody in the back, one of the interviewers just saying "do do do do" as you say you're watching GDQ, and then it just fades to black. Well, I guess it wouldn't fade to black, but we
Oh,
don't have
that's
that baked in.
funny, but
Write that
actually
down, write that down.
also is kind of a good basis for an idea. So if I do something even remotely similar to that, you'll know. You'll know.
Okay.
Ooh.
You heard it. This is insider information. Don't leak. We're workshopping stuff for SGDQ right now. If you're listening to this, you're now under NDA. Legally, you're not under
For the
NDA.
interview sign-offs only for me.
Yeah.
It's already copyrighted. By the time this episode's out, we would have contacted a copyright lawyer, and if you steal it, that's bad.
What about something
Right.
What about something that rhymes? You could be like, "This is foo, throwing it back to you."
Oh no. Oh my god, it's so cheesy. Oh
This
no.
is Foo. You're watching GDQ.
Oh fuck,
Oh
that's
my
so
gosh.
good.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. I hate it, but also
Or this
I
is
hate
foo
it, but it
here at
works.
SGDQ.
yeah.
That sounds like that's kind of like I don't know the word for it when you're like field reporting, like
Yeah.
actively like in the crowd or something. That would be
You
your
know,
sign off.
we do as a team, and I think this is okay to say, like we do as an interview team want to do more interstitial content. So like
Mhm.
you never know, maybe one day something like that will happen. Like we have more stuff we want to do that'll be fun for
I feel
people
like that's
to.
not a bad idea. Like going
I
like
yeah. I want to
interviewing
do that
attendees.
so bad.
Yeah, there's stuff we've talked about options, and I have
Yeah.
ideas that I can literally visualize in my head. So hopefully we'll get like the
Ooh.
approval go ahead to do some of these things, try them out, see how it feels for the team.
Yeah.
Or maybe like the next time we're in person. So we'll see.
If you have
Exciting.
ideas for what interstitial content that the interview team, put them in the comments. They might not read
Ooh,
them,
yeah.
but we'll get engagement.
Yeah.
But we'll read them, and we're like adjacent to them, so
And then they'll make sure to let me know, or I will make sure to check as well. And check in the
Yeah.
comments too. If
We
you
will
put an
forget,
idea in the
but I like-
comment, I will personally respond to it.
Ooh.
All right, that's official.
There you go.
No
Unless
matter
it's
what the
bad.
idea is, apparently.
I'll be
I
like,
think
"That's
for the
awesome."
interstitials, they should do another run.
Ooh.
Think about that.
Yeah, what if we had more runs?
Totally. Yeah, that's how it works.
I think.
What if
I think.
instead of a run, we put another run in?
It's another
Wait.
Hear me out.
I mean, that isn't that just called a backup?
No,
All
but
right,
here, but
but hear me out.
You're not.
I'm hearing.
What if instead of the planned run, we do a different run instead, and tell nobody about it,
Well, surprise run.
and pretend it's the original run?
Okay. Does the layout also reflect the original run?
Yes.
Do they just commentate it as if it's the just not
Yes.
nobody acknowledging it, and so
Exactly,
it just is,
yeah.
that's I love that.
Yeah.
That sounds like the kind of thing that's funny to me and nobody else.
Yeah.
Everyone would hate this, but
Okay.
it
But
I
would be
would love
funny.
it.
It would be funny to a couple people.
More insider info to the interview team. We love to write jokes that only we get.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we have to try to tone them down or maybe be like, we don't need that joke. Literally no one else will get it. But there's always at least one joke that very few people who are watching will get, unless you are very well versed in previous pre-shows or have
Right.
talked to us off camera. Like if Keys mentions drones, nobody else is gonna get it but us. But we've loved to shoot down the drones idea. But we love to
Oh, I understand what's going on here. Okay.
cancel the drones idea a lot for Keys and be like, no drones. And so we've mentioned it occasionally in previous pre-shows.
I've talked with
Or
Keys about this.
if a drone is actually used, Keys is unbearably excited and it's so funny. But again, nobody else will understand. It's just us. So there are little things like that. We have our own, I guess, pre-show interview team Easter eggs, you could say.
Yeah, that's why we can't stop making Angry Birds content.
There you go.
Our last Hotfix show, we started out, so it's the first thing that they said was, I think, an inside joke to something that happened in the green room. And I was like, that's nothing for anyone, actually.
Yeah, that's
'cause
fair. I'll make sure to.
May was like, I love it, for no reason, very little reason. It was supposed to be something else, and then
So what happened was, I think Ray was balancing my audio or something like that, and Ray was like, "Does that work?" And I was like, "I love it," or something like that, because I somehow mixed up I love that for us, and
Yeah.
you love to see it, and just said,
Right.
"I love it." And so for the
I love
entire time, both our guests and Swoosh were just like, "Yeah, I love it."
Yeah, one of the first lines in the show was someone said "I love" and then trailed off, and I was like, "It." And May was like, "No one understands
No
this.
one understands this.
I love that. I love it.
I love it. Exactly.
I'm not only am I being made fun of, I'm being made fun of in a way that is not comprehensible by the audience.
That's
which
okay.
is the most
they don't
bad
need a
manners way
reason.
to make fun of me.
Yeah. So
Hi, this is post-production May, the May that gets added in after the fact. Did you know we have a Patreon? If you're already a Patreon subscriber, this message isn't for you. Thank you, we love you, you can tune out for this part. But if you're not, for only $3 a month, you can get access to episodes early and get a bonus episode at least once per month. The bonus episodes are different from the regular episodes. They're a lot more unhinged, which is kind of saying something. You get access to all the ones we've already done, even if you subscribe now, so that's cool. We don't want to have to run ads during this program, because ads suck, and supporting us via the Patreon helps us not have to do that. You can check it out at patreon.com/dearpbpod if you're interested and can afford to do so. You're already supporting us by listening to the show and telling others about it, so this is kind of like a bonus thing you could do if you really like it. Okay, cool, I'm done, bye.
Yeah, so I guess for like actual interviews, we like to try to take those like inside jokes, see if it's potentially digestible for the audience, and then we will bring it up in a way where, oh, we were chatting before this and this thing came up. Why don't we talk about it for a second? Or,
Right.
bring it up in a way where they can then the person we're interviewing can then share it with the audience and include them in the joke, which also works really well in runs. Like, May, you were a part of Pokemon.
I sure was.
And how ridiculous that was with
Yeah, I
Jay.
mean,
That was my
GDQ
fault
running-
because of the way that I say words.
Yes, but then everybody got included on the inside joke, which is great. So it's like you
Yeah.
have to make sure that you translate it in a way where everybody else can then understand, and we can all be a part of it. And then, ta-da!
Yeah, GDQ running jokes are so incredibly popular.
It's true.
Yeah.
Nobody
What do you think
commits to the
hosts
bit
shout
like
orb?
chat.
Yeah.
What?
Nobody commits to the bit like chat because
Yeah.
they arguably commit to the bit a little too hard.
No, it's
Little bit.
perfect. It's perfect. It's so good for us as interviewers or hosts.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's
because we
really
can work
easy
off
content.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can inspire that. Like, it inspires people to be like, oh, I want to be a part of it. I want to do it too. And then people want to donate, which is super good for the charities then. So it's a really good back and
Mhm.
forth because everybody's having more fun that way. It's like, I encourage when I'm hosting, like, I'm very happy with you all on the couch. Yes, it was really chaotic for Pokemon for Arceus, but like, it was also a joy to feel like I could be more of a part of it. Sometimes runners treat their runs like the run exists outside of the host completely.
Yeah.
And they like don't respond to me when I read out a donation for them to them from somebody they know. They're like, and I'm like,
Cool,
okay,
thanks.
you can and I can't say live, like, feel free to like react to me at all.
You know
and
who
I feel
these
that,
people
like,
are.
I want to, yeah, exactly. Like, I want to go based on the runner's vibe, but I also want them to know that like they can have a dialogue back and forth with the host,
Right.
and it's fun to be a part of it. Like, another run that I absolutely loved hosting for was when the first time we saw CDI Zelda game on.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my goodness, what's happening? And they're like, Foo, I want you to just leave your mic on and react to like the whole game if you want, like, please, because this is my first time seeing it. So they were like, oh good, we get first time reactions. It was like perfect to be involved in the game in that way. So that worked out really well. So it's fun. Like, if you all are listening and you want to submit a run to a GDQ, let's say you get in, awesome, congratulations, you're gonna kill it. But feel free to include your hosts. Like, they don't have to be commentary for you, but have a back and forth with them. The audience loves that as well. And it just makes everybody more comfortable, and then you get to have a bit more fun. So, some advice.
Yeah, I have a lot of opinions about host and commentary interactions, mainly that like I feel like the best commentary I see are the one tends to be from people that have a deeper understanding of how like marathons occur from the backside, like on the back end, where like
Yeah.
I feel like they're better at not to be biased, but are better at in general like being able to flow with the host in a way that feels very natural because you understand the importance of the host to keeping donation pace.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. But I mean, that also comes with experience. So like newer
yes, I
runners
agree.
or like newer people to being on a GDQ are going to be less experienced with it. So, you're probably going to be nervous and you're going to be like, okay, I need to make sure that I say everything right and do all this right and don't mess up. And if you do, that can get in your head. And it's, and so I'm sure there's a lot that's keeping them from feeling comfortable to have a more casual interaction and have that back and forth. There's a bunch of things that people don't always consider for marathons. I had a person on my Hotfix show last night, and he was like, I'm going to leave the music on for Sekiro. I usually don't, but for Hotfix sake, like for being, in front of a larger audience,
Yeah.
like I'm going to leave the music on. And I'm like, thank goodness. Like, when BDSP was on for a marathon, they lost 20 minutes or so, or like more or something
Yep.
just from having the music on. But it makes it so much more digestible for people who are watching it for the first time for such a large audience. And, and I've seen when the opposite has happened, when a runner keeps the game exactly how they want it for their most optimal run. And it's so hard to watch or like to listen to because you're like, I can't see the game. Like, the contrast is all the way up, or like the brightness is all the way up so I can barely see. And like,
Hmm.
sure, that's helpful for your run, but it's not great for the marathon. And like
Yeah.
making those adjustments can make such a huge difference in how people perceive your run, wanting to be involved, like, in the entertainment factor. And that's important. It's a marathon. There's an entertainment factor you have to consider. So,
Yeah, you're there to help raise money. Like, is it cool when a world
yeah.
record happens at GDQ? Yes, but also, people people do marathon safe strats, but for whatever reason, it's like sometimes people draw the line in a way that like is not conducive towards
Yeah, it's
the goal that everyone is there for, which is raising money.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
you'll get awareness on your run and have people like getting eyes on it. So if you want to bring people to your community and see your skill, you can still show that off even if you make some small concessions to make it more marathon friendly. And if you make it more digestible for the viewers in the first place, they're more likely to want to come and watch. Other aside, instead of being like, "Oh, this was hard to watch," they're not going to want to come later on, right? They're
Yeah.
not
Yeah, I
going to
mean,
want to stop by.
some of the more well-received runs are ones that didn't go that great, but
Yeah,
the runner either has a sense of humor about it or is good at backups or whatever
right.
to make it more of an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's super important. So again, anybody who's listening right now, like keep that in mind when you have runs, if you're going to come on hotfix shows, if you're going to like be a part of events and show off your games, like consider the people watching and the experience that they're going to have as well, even if it means losing a little time for your game. Um, if it can make it a better watch, do that.
Yeah.
Plus, like, even if you're like, well, I don't want, like, if you're gonna be like a weird redditor about it and be like, well, no, it's about the run, it's not about the um it's
It's
not
not about the
about
charity.
the
Yes,
charity, it's
it
about the
literally
run.
is.
Go
It's like
watch Break the
run
Record
first,
live then.
charity second.
Like,
Well, no, specifically like if you're able to showcase your run in a more digestible way for more people, that helps your community.
It
yeah,
does.
And that can
100%.
advance the run. Like people a lot of times the reason why, like, if you ask the average person, probably, why did you get into this, like, to this game, more often than not, like, you're going to see a lot of I saw it on GDQ, or I
Mhm.
saw it at this event, or I saw it at that event, and I thought this is cool and I want to do
I
that.
thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
And then sometimes those people are the people that are the ones that later down the road are developing new stuff, or
Mhm.
like competing with you in a way that helps you, that pushes you farther, or even like are the people watching you, if you stream, watching you do it on stream, even if they aren't running it themselves, and thus like helping enable you to be able to stay motivated and do that more. So like, it's not, these things don't exist in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Again, yeah, making it marathon friendly can be a benefit everywhere. And you don't
Yeah.
always have to go for a world record. Yes, it's cool to see and cool to mention, but the run should be able to speak for itself whether you get a record or not.
Yes.
To bring people
Yeah.
into it. And most of the runs at GDQ have people at the end who are like, we would love more people. And this happens in my interviews all the time. They're like, we'd love to have more people join our community and run our game. Like, please join the Discord, go on speedrun.com, like, go check this out. And, so you want to bring more people in. It's good. It's all good.
All right. Here's my question for you, Fu.
Okay.
Dear PB, if you could wave a magic wand and make all commentators understand, or all commentators runners understand one thing that would make your life as a host better, what would it be?
I have an answer, and this is gonna sound. I don't think it's gonna sound mean. Maybe just very direct. But like,
Drag 'em.
remember that we exist.
True.
Yeah.
Please keep us in mind. And the whole when I say remember that we exist, it's not only so that you can include us, so that we can read out the donations that we get many for both the couch and the commentators, and we'd love to share them with you, and it helps more people donate. But also the fact that goes back to like the have a back and forth with us. Like we're here for any kind of dialogue you may have. Like maybe you don't, maybe you have like something planned very strictly around how you're going to talk about the run, and that's totally cool. But like, don't forget about us. We're over here. We're ready. We are ready to go at any note, any moment.
Even if you, as a runner, don't like the fact that hosts are there, it is still in your interest for you to be the one queuing in the host. Because otherwise, the
Yeah.
host will need to butt in order
Yes.
to actually read donations, because that is
I've
their job.
I've had to do that.
Yeah.
especially toward like finales of marathons. You all, again, for Pokemon were great because you allowed me to just kind of be a part of everything. But I have had times where productions were like interrupt them because the commentators kind of lost track of the actual
Yeah.
speed run and were just talking about random things around the game that they were running or that the runner was running. And they were just like, oh yeah, the other day, like this thing happened. And production's like, oh my God, this is a finale. Like interrupt them, like
Yeah.
read donations. I was like, oh, okay. And that was my first time doing a finale and like one of the earlier times I'd hosted. And so it was a big learning experience for me. But yeah, don't
Yeah,
forget
that's the
we
thing.
exist and
That's
like
the thing I
don't
think a
be
lot of people aren't actually aware of is specifically
yeah.
that on finale day you are expected to take a more of a back seat because a lot of the donation drive comes in on that final day, and so
Yeah,
like
or I mean, like, in my opinion, commentate away, but give us the pockets that we need to like be able
yes,
to read things
Mhm.
out and hype things up with us, please. For the love of God, please, if we're trying to be hype about something, hype up with us. It's so helpful. We don't want to have to take the whole brunt of it ourselves. And again, I've had runners who like don't react, they are still faced, and that's cool if you're focused on your run. It's all good. Maybe get a couch that is able to provide that energy for you if you need to focus. And if you're on the couch, like if you don't like that hosts exist, like you were saying, May, like don't commentate for
well,
GDQ
yeah,
Right.
because
there's
we're there
that.
whether you like it or not.
But even if you're like, I don't like the fact that hosts are there, it's still, I think it's still in your best interest because to like acknowledge the host and give the host time to speak, because
Oh
otherwise
yeah.
they're going to talk anyways and it's going to be clunkier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you're just gonna you're by not giving hosts that time, it's damaging the end product in a way that like is you're gonna be more resentful for it, and B, like it's noticeable,
Yeah.
and thus you're doing a worse job than you could be.
Yeah.
I genuinely think one of the best things you can do to understand the flow and goals of marathon commentary better is to be on the production side for at least one event.
Ooh, that's a good one. So that actually makes me think of when I'm talking to people about just customer service and things like that. I'm like, you know how to better appreciate people in food service if you have done it.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
You know, it's a very similar lesson. Like there are people who can be I've seen people um who are rude to people in food service for like a little mess up. And
God, I
I'm
would
like,
die.
dude,
Hmm.
have you ever been in their shoes? No?
Yeah.
Okay, because I can tell. Like, go experience it on the other side, and you have so much more appreciation. And then you can also learn that guess what? Interviewers are not GDQ staff because a lot of people don't
Imagine
know
that.
that and are like, ugh, I hate this person. Did you know that Spike takes 70% of
70%?
GDQ
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah,
Follow the money.
I'm well
That was
aware
the
of
funniest
this.
thing I've ever heard. Oh my
All right.
gosh.
Everybody quickly invent a GDQ conspiracy theory.
Oh no. Oh, there's so many out there though. Mike's
I want the most
I
Well,
unhinged
that
love
doesn't
one.
exist.
love that at the end of this AGDQ, Mike talked about this stupid yacht thing. That he was like, oh, I'm gonna go on my yacht. And I'm like, that's so funny. He was like steering into the skid in the best way. I was so excited about that.
My conspiracy theory is that actually there isn't, or Mike Uyama retired 10 years ago.
Ooh, Mike Uyama never existed.
Wait, no, 10 is too long. 5 years ago, and it was replaced with a doppel Mike.
Ooh,
And
This
but
is like
then
it's like
they
Avril
had to
Lavigne.
bring back the
Yes.
original Mike because the doppel Mike is the one that's in jail.
Check Twitter.
what? I love it. I love it. I'm trying to think of a good one too now.
My conspiracy
Mike
theory
Twoyama.
Ooh, I do like that. My conspiracy theory, which is probably real, is that like teachers, Scent never actually leaves the studio and lives there full time.
I can confirm that is
no.
that's not the case.
No,
sure?
no comment.
Yes. I've been there when Scent isn't. Wait, I don't know if there's a secret
Yeah,
maybe it's
Yeah,
like
no, I
Scent
have
is like a
been
teacher sleeping in like a coffin after
Yeah.
hours.
I have been there when Spike or when Scent has not been present. Sorry, I was trying to think of another conspiracy thing around Spike. I have been there when Scent was not in the office. But
That's
But we
what you
don't know if
think.
there's a secret Scent
Yeah.
layer beneath the office.
That's
you don't
true.
think Scent was in the office.
That's the
But-
prize dungeon.
Exactly.
We did joke about the fact that he didn't bring a car. Maybe he got a ride to work, and so like we're just like, oh, you actually just live here, or
Right.
if you don't, you just hop on a train and like
Curious.
get over this way. I don't know.
Well, so since the prize wizard, but if I learn anything from the Dresden Files, is that wizards can't really operate cars.
Okay. Oh, then
And
that
so
makes
the
sense.
car's just a prop.
Ah, it's a photo piece.
I love it.
All right, Fu, what's your conspiracy?
My conspiracy theory is that God, I know so much about GDQ. I'm just like,
What's your conspiracy that doesn't break NDA?
oh yeah.
I can always bleep stuff out if you accidentally slip. It's all right.
My
Yeah, we do edit
conspiracy
these.
is that the whole event is actually run by a monkey. There you go. Who is
I
sits in a
think that's
cage
not
and
very
makes
nice things to say about staff.
decisions left and right, just on a whim, but
Monkey
tends to
Yama.
pick the best ones most of the time.
I don't like Monkey Yama.
Yeah, well.
Oh my god. Well, when I was trying to say like,
That's a
let's give some
conspiracy.
love in the daily recap, and I almost said Spike Uyama because I was like,
No.
because Spike was not on that day, and I was gonna, I don't know what's going on in my brain, and I was like, and then chat's like Spike Uyama. I don't know. I couldn't come up with a good conspiracy theory. I'm sorry, you all.
I put you on the spot real hard. That's honestly that's because you already know the truth.
I was gonna
Right.
say, I know all the
Yeah.
truths.
There's a lot that you can't say because there's a
Exactly.
lot that's
There's
out
still
there.
a lot that
you
I
know?
don't know, though. Honestly, on my end, again, because I am not staff, so I am
We
only
need to
privy to the
make-
things more related to my position.
We need to make like a parody GDQ iceberg.
Okay.
Okay.
Or like at like the abyss is like Mike Twoyama and like the prize dungeon.
All right, listeners, you know what to do.
Yeah, I mean
Tweet it at the account. We'll retweet it.
Yeah, like the top level is like, you know, the main events, FF. Well, FF is probably the lower tier because no one knows about that, which they should. But hotfix too.
We're trying.
You can
We're
do
try-
it.
Yeah, we are trying.
Yeah, hotfix is down there too. But
Mhm.
and then you go lower, and it's like Spike takes 70%.
Mike
The
in
prize
jail.
dungeon, Mike in jail.
And
You
then you
know,
go lower, and that's when you get to Mike Tuyama,
right?
and then also Monkuyama.
And
That's
Spike
like the
taking-
Leviathan at the bottom.
Spike with all the money.
Monkuyama. Yeah.
Where's
All
the
the
yacht?
money.
Is it sitting up at the top?
Ooh.
Where's
Well,
the
The
yacht?
yacht's
I mean,
the yacht's next to the iceberg.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's floating.
It's true.
All right, Fu and I have to head to a meeting about unspecified meeting about event coming up soon that you should watch.
It's the secret third GDQ, which is also
yeah.
in the iceberg.
Yeah, that's what CGDQ.
Oh, true. GDQX.
I was gonna say we haven't had GDQX in a bit, so
it is not a GDQX. Meeting. Do not get your hopes up.
it's not. It's not.
So unfortunately, we're gonna have to make this one a little short. But if anything, that just means we have more content if we want to have Fu back on in the future.
True.
Yeah.
Eyes emoji. Where can people find you if they want more Fu?
I was gonna say, do you have any other questions for me? But I guess this is the question.
That is the question.
So Kung Fu Fruit Cup. You can just search that. I'm friggin' everywhere online. I'm on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. But I don't care about Twitter, so no worries there. And yeah, I am a Nintendo creator, so you'll see me doing a lot of Nintendo games on my stream. But I also love Beat Saber, and then all kinds of other little like retro games, platformers, RPGs. That's the majority of my content, I would say, and it's great. So I have a lot of fun there. And then otherwise, you can, I'll be hosting my show on Hotfix, or doing the next Frame Fatale event or Mainstage GDQ. So lots of GDQ stuff as well.
In case people don't know what your Hotfix show, what is it?
It is now called Out of Bounds. It used to be called That's Never Happened Before, so you might still find it under that name for older episodes if you want to check those out. But now it's called Out of Bounds because that is a much more fitting title for the content. We have people on who are top runners in They're games who have lots of knowledge about glitch-heavy speedruns. So they come on and they basically do like a glitch showcase or exhibition, going through like a slow speedrun or just a pure showcase. They'll like stop and explain the glitches along the way so we can learn more about it because there's never enough time at like a main stage TDQ to like get to understand how the glitches work or how they're really set up or anything. So this is the people's chance to nerd out.
Go be a nerd. Watch the show. Nerd parentheses affectionate. Watch the
Mhm.
show.
Very
We're
affectionate.
not making fun of you this time. If you like our show where we just made fun of you, but you still like it, please like it.
It's
Please
tough
like
love.
us.
Do you love it?
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it.
See,
you
now,
find us
I'm,
on
now I'm
Twitter.
included.
Oops, sorry.
So now I'm included.
Yep. Like us Twitter, twitter.com/DearPBPod. We are also on co-host, where we also post all the updates in case you're like, fuck Twitter, this website's garbage. You can follow us on co-host instead and get all this stuff too. That's cohost.org/DearPB. And we also have a YouTube and a Patreon, patreon.com/DearPBPod. You can give us $3 and you can get a bonus episode. We just, right before this, recorded a bonus episode that has nothing to do with speedrun, but is a deep cut to an older episode that you may have watched where I got super hyper-focused on stupid things. So that's fun. You could check that out if you like that. I'm not going to say too much because they'll probably be less inclined to check it out, but check it out. Again, that is patreon.com/DearPBPod. We need to head to a meeting, so we're just gonna end it off the way we always do. Don't be racist.
Don't be racist.
Yay! Don't be racist, please.
Bye.
Bye.